y'all doing? My name is Jacob and welcome back to Tired Reads, or welcome to Tired Reads if you're new. Today's video is going to be some audiobooks recommendations that I've read this past year overall. I'm a very big fan of audiobooks. I love listening to them, and I think it's a great way because I drive a lot for work and school, so it's going to be, so I go through a lot basically. So I have 5 audiobooks and then some runner-ups, which we'll talk about at the end. Also, this is gonna be a quick video just because, you know, something short, sweet, to the point. This is about the audiobook, not the plot. So if you're looking for some audiobook recommendations, you can just add these through your Libby or Libro FM or Scrib or wherever you get your audiobooks. So it's gonna be sweet, to the point. Let's just dive into it. So my first recommendation is The Night Swim by Megan Goldin. I believe that's her name. I didn't write these authors' names down, so if that's wrong, we're just gonna forget that I said that. But this is, the reason I love this audiobook is because it incorporates the podcast element, and it sounds like you're listening to an actual podcast mixed in with the plot of a murder mystery with trials. The whole thing was in letters from different perspectives. Besides the plot alone, which was fantastic, chef's kiss, the audiobook was superb, so I highly recommend this. Audiobook number 2, The Black Flamingo. This was a great book written in verse. Dean Atta, I believe, is the author, but I could have made that up. This book, we followed this young boy's journey through life, coming to terms with his sexuality and joining a local drag organization in his college once he goes to college or uni, because it's in London, so I'm not really sure what the difference there. But I love this because it's read by the author and the flow of it was beautiful. And you'll notice a theme, which we might as well just do next with poetry. The Poet X by Elisabeth Acevedo. This was one of the first audiobooks I've ever listened to. It might be the first audiobook. I loved this audiobook. It was beautiful. It was read by Elisabeth Acevedo. So if you're looking for some poetry, boom bap, there it is. That one, the Poet X, is about, but she's like a poet, so she's going through that, and her family doesn't like it and stuff, but I love Elisabeth Acevedo's writing. That's a beautiful book. And speaking of rapping, On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. Great book because the raps in it, I think this was another one read by the author. I could have made that up. Let me double check. So that's a lie, it's not narrated by Angie Thomas, but still nonetheless wonderful because the raps in it, because she's a rapper trying to make it big, following her father's footsteps, even though there's some things going on. The raps are like said, like actually raps, so it was a great book. When I hear about the book, we're about to hear the audiobook. Audiobook experience, 10 out of 10. And the final book before we move on to the runner-ups is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This had a full cast, which I love a good full cast. Narration, follows the band, the Six, and Daisy Jones, and their emergence through the 70s into the 80s of stardom and their ups and downs. It's told through like interview format, and the audiobook just lends well. I don't know if I'd enjoy it as much if I read it physically, so I'd only recommend this audiobook over the physical book. And it was great because it felt like you were listening to like a live documentary, because like it would cut back and forth between people. Superb. And some runner-ups in case those 5 didn't strike your fancy. One is The Catherine House, which I know is a weird book, but the audiobook made you feel very submersed into the story. I felt totally like weirded out by the chants, and the narrator was a great narrator for that book. I loved that. I quite enjoyed that book. I don't know if I loved it, but another one is the Mistborn series. Michael Kramer is just top tier narrator. First of all, love the books. Second of all, he does those books justice. Like, I couldn't read them besides with the audiobook, so I had to have the physical and the audiobook. And finally, third and final runner-up, The Illuminati Files by Amie. Kaufman and Jane Kristoff. Those are like a complete audio experience. If you haven't listened to them, I highly recommend it. That's another one I recommend reading with the book because you get music, you get voice, different full cast, you get sound effects, everything you name it, you get in it. But that's a fun one, and I really enjoyed the books. So I know this was a short video, it wasn't meant to be long, but if you would like another audiobook recommendation video, let me know down below. I've listened to way too many audiobooks. Not mad about it. Emoji of the day, put that little headphone emoji. Let me know how you're doing. I hope you're having a wonderful day, night, or whatever. I hope you're having fun celebrating whatever you may be celebrating. Thank you so much for watching.